There can be no truth. Written by Johnny Fist. The trial had already lasted 7 hours, and this was just today. In total, the case had been ongoing for more than 2 years. Filippo, the main suspect in the murder of an elderly couple in their own home, continued to resist. His lawyer did everything possible to extract his client from this filthy case, which was clearly fabricated, but so expertly that no one could challenge it. The prosecution was led by the chief prosecutor of Venice. It's hard to resist when facing the city's highest judicial authority. Filippo knew this was purely a political trial. He knew who was behind it. He understood the motives. Filippo knew too much about the schemes. He knew where and how money had flowed from the city treasury over the past 5 years. He knew this because he himself had personally conducted many of these operations. Being the right-hand man of the city mayor was no easy task. Profitable, yes, but far from simple. When sharks swim around you, you need to be bigger. A predator with sharper teeth, larger fins, and no allies. In this case, and Filippo knew it well, there could be no allies. He could rely only on himself, and for 5 years he had done so brilliantly. He carried out operations, moved millions of euros through secret accounts in Cyprus, Greece, and the United States. Everywhere he had his cells through which he orchestrated his schemes. He was well paid for it, but beyond that, he knew how to manage the funds to not only hide them, but also to grow them. Naturally, he pocketed the delta. How else? A year ago, the greedy mayor, Luigi Brunaro, wanted more. So intoxicated by power and money, he elevated himself to the level of God in his desires. He began buying villas, houses, and investing in securities. Naturally, questions arose. Where, how, and through whom? Over time, the questions piled up, and Mayor Brunaro could no longer withstand the pressure. Journalists began digging and discovering. This was damaging to Brunaro's reputation, and something had to be done. The situation was near hopeless. If they found his assets, which according to Filippo were well hidden, his political career would end. Along with it, his luxurious lifestyle. The only solution was to find a scapegoat, someone on whom to pin all the blame for embezzlement. The scheme was old, but well tested. Since Aristotle, in fact, if you cannot defend yourself, attack. Attack your own. Throw the excess overboard, even at the cost of slowing the ship's progress. This is exactly what Luigi Brunaro did. He set up Filippo, transferring the embezzlement of the city treasury and all the schemes uncovered by journalists onto him. Filippo knew the risks from the start, but he hadn't expected it precisely at this moment. He had been planning another year or so to conduct a few more operations, enrich himself enough to last a lifetime, and quietly leave his cushioned position, compromising himself with some minor incompetence that everyone would forget by tomorrow. Now, time was no longer on his side. Luigi Brunaro had handed Filippo over, diverting suspicion from himself while almost sinking Filippo. Filippo knew that too many words in court could not only ensure a life sentence, but could also lead to his elimination. And he could speak at length, precisely and persuasively. But there was always that cursed but, which Filippo hated. Not speaking meant burying himself behind the 4 walls of Italy's harshest prison until the end of his days. Speaking meant sinking the mayor along with his entire circle and sentencing himself to elimination. Neither option suited Filippo. Not even his lawyer, the best in Venice, could do anything, fully aware of the problem. They deliberately delayed and postponed the trial, trying to find a loophole to save Filippo's life and, if possible, secure his freedom. Then he could leave, and no one would ever find him. After a year, they had failed. Today was the final hearing, after which the ultimate verdict would be delivered. Filippo had no trump cards left, and he and his lawyer knew exactly what was coming. For the final statement, the judge called the accused. Filippo stood. In his cell, he had spent the past few days preparing his speech. what he would say when given the floor, his final words in this trial. He had gone over every possible argument and justification, but in the last few days nothing came to mind. So he rose, walked slowly to the podium, surveyed everyone in the room, and began speaking deliberately.
Thank you for giving me the floor, Your Honor. You have performed admirably throughout this trial, as a man, but not as justice. You embody the law, which implies balance. You embody truth, which implies falsehood. There can be no truth without lies. And when truth confronts lies, there must be something to determine and separate one from the other. Justice. You, Your Honor, have forgotten what truth is and whom it serves. It serves the people, as do we all. Yet only you may judge one chosen by the people, while I cannot judge you, chosen by the people. You say that I have delved into the pockets of the citizens, that I have robbed them, made them poorer and more miserable. You say that I am evil, that I serve not the good of the people, but only drive them to poverty and suffering. You condemn me for my own actions. Not only you, but those appointed by the people's chosen one. In essence, we are all agents of the people, yet not all with equal authority. Why is that? In this city, do I have fewer rights than you as a citizen? It seems I do. Am I not able to do the same as you without consequence? Apparently not. Are the acts you and the prosecutor accuse me of not the very same acts you commit daily? Apparently not. And yet, Your Honor, I can easily prove that you, the mayor, the prosecutor, and we are all sailing in the same luxurious but very fragile boat, from which anyone may be thrown overboard. And you, calling yourselves the system, decided to throw me overboard. But here's what I say. I knew your intentions, so just before my departure, I took the ship's wheel with me. True, it drags me down, but I can manage. I will row. And you may hit an iceberg, and the whole ship will sink. No, you will not thank me. You will accuse me again. But now I will be twice as ready. And when you find me and demand the wheel back, I will tell you it is hidden in a safe place. And if something happens to me, it may come in handy on another ship, and we will all remain alone on a deserted island. What happens next to me is of no concern. I will be satisfied. That is your concern. This trial cannot continue. It has already consumed too much energy, time, and attention, leaving a ray of light for me. And I am ready to lift the curtain slightly. Thank you for your attention, Your Honor.
Filippo returned to his seat. Silence fell in the courtroom. His message was unmistakable. A man with nothing to lose may do anything. And Filippo had demonstrated this perfectly. The judge called a recess and left the courtroom. He had never been so humiliated. Journalists present immediately broadcast Filippo's words verbatim. By morning, every city newspaper would print his statements, slightly embellished. The blow to the mayor, regardless of the trial's outcome, would be immense. Filippo knew this, so he sat serenely. 2 hours later, the judge returned to deliver the verdict. Filippo was sentenced to life imprisonment in a maximum security facility, the harshest punishment possible. But Filippo knew that, after all he had said, he would not last a year there, perhaps not even a week. They would ensure his silence, and all he had revealed against the mayor would vanish with him. Filippo, satisfied with himself, left the courthouse under police escort. The trial was over. It had drained him, as had the uncertainty. Now everything was certain. Now everything was easier.